Hello, y'all, and I have a special treat for you today. An epic tournament series I played against BBG at JamFest number 5 just a few days before the official launch of the game. This series perfectly showcases the topics I talked about in the last guide: resource management and adapting your win condition. Unfortunately, I don't have the VOD of my own stream available, but Casanova was kind enough to share the recording of the main stream. Big shout out to him and Blevins. And yeah, let's jump into it.
But this is going to be a spectacular set, and I am here for it,
Yeah.
man. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to take us to Lobster's screen as he queues up his Draven Ezreal into BBG.
All right, so here's the mirror. Are they able? Is one player able to navigate it as seamlessly as Glasses did?
Glasses
watched
of the sun.
Yes, the sun glasses.
The sun variety.
We see the Chumpster. 2 Chump Wumps. That's got to be good. That is good for Lobster. Right?
Lobster with the Chungus advantage. Is going to have the mushrooms. We'll see if he goes the same route as Sunglasses and slams these and slams the mushrooms as fast as possible.
We're seeing old Dravy come out.
Yeah, it looks like Lobster may be forced to actually respond to this board with his own units by playing something like Sentry onto the Draven. He obviously doesn't want to be taking too much damage, but he also is not super happy about putting any units on board and allowing them to be cleared off via spells, but it's kind of a necessary evil in this circumstance. But we could see Lobster even go for the block onto the 2-2 and then Jury Rig to pull out the other thing. We see him opening his own deck tracker, setting that up. Yeah, he might just go for the clean trades. Could also see the value, and it does look like he goes for the value trade. Chump block with the 1-1. Does give BBG also a value trade, so he does still have 2 units on board. I think this is because Fresh Lobster wants to set up for a Static Shock to get 2 targets.
Yep.
So this actually may be a game where we see Ezreal's level. It looks like the hands kind of lend towards a few more units being played in general than that match we saw with Sunglasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, given that Lobster has 3, if not 4 units that he actually wants to play, baiting out a Thermogenic Beam is just perfectly fine for Lobster. I think you got to be pretty happy if you're seeing that happen. Now the consideration, do you Static Shock? Do you develop a Chump? Do you pass the turn? Lobster, he plays this deck very, very interestingly. And it seems like he loves to pass. And of course, the one option I didn't present is the one he goes with.
Yeah, I was thinking about how Spider, it saves 4 mana for this Static Shock if he wanted to play it on this turn. He gets to play it on both, and then he just has 2 Chump blockers available. Now, of course, he's presenting 2 targets to BBG in the event that BBG was on his own Static Shock. But in general, it's just developing the most amount of Chump blockers in case maybe BBG played some more units flooding the board or anything of the sort. And he should be able to theoretically push 2 damage here. BBG, yeah. I like this a lot. I look at BBG's hand. I'm saying, I don't want this unit. I don't want my Draven on the board. I don't want you leveling. Let me just trade this off. And I'm not going to be able to remove your Spider, so you're not going to get to remove my Draven.
Very interesting.
He also, importantly, gets an axe off of that for his rummage.
True. Well, I know I'm becoming more and more confident that I don't ever want to play this deck because I'm clearly playing it wrong.
It is a hard deck to pilot, absolutely. I do think that as Draven in general, one of the harder ones. A lot of Ezreal decks, I think, have a lot of depth. I think they are a bit harder to pilot. I know people like to broke back in Twitch chat for Ezreal, but I do think in general it is a harder archetype to pilot than a lot of other things. I mean, of course, yes, you just stall to a certain point and then you play all your spells, but how you stall to that point is important. And making sure
True.
that you're playing around everything possible that you can is so important. The mirror, of course, you have to prevent their Ezreal from getting level ups while finding your own. It's just a lot of depth. A lot of depth. You could say that the decks are deep.
Well, not quite yet. They both have more than 15 cards in their deck, but very soon, if enough progress stays. Okay, dumb joke, dumb. I know.
That's what I was setting you up for. It's okay. We're all good.
I know. We're all dumb here.
We're all dumb here. We're all dumb.
It is true. Now, looks a little bit potentially dicey for Lobster here. Maybe, I don't. It's very tough to really see like what is the actual state of the game. Who is actually ahead right now? Lobster has slightly less health. There's more puff caps in BBG's deck, I think. There's going to be a nice healthy swing here. There's 2 Ezreals in BBG's hand to the 1 of Fresh Lobster. 2 Get Exciteds for BBG. 0 for... I have no idea how to tell where the scales are in this match right now.
Yeah, I mean, the puff caps are definitely an advantage for Lobster. Of course, he's got Rummage to utilize on his other puff caps if he wishes. Depends how close he can get his Ezreal to being leveled. I think that Fresh Lobster is ahead on that, but currently BBG's ahead on Burn. He's already dealt 3 damage to Lobster. He has 8 damage in hand. I mean, it's close. It's a close match. Neither is really giving an inch.
Doesn't want to attack. Interesting. Again, just taking the mana, the eating of mana for BBG. I like that. That is a line that Fresh Lobster takes, I think, more than almost anyone else. I'm just gonna pass, and if you're fine with passing, I'm fine with passing. I don't care if it prevents me from attacking. I don't care if it prevents damage. I'm going to eat your mana, and if I do that enough times, I'm going to be ahead in this game.
Yeah, BBG is a player that talks about that often as well. So I think they're both very aware of that strategy. You know, BBG will take passes because he'll look and he'll be like, okay, well, I've spent 6 mana this turn, and you still have 6 plus spell mana. You got 9 mana. If you're gonna pass, I'll take that. I'll take that every time.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that I've seen BBG do a lot. It's something we see, like you mentioned, we see Lobster do a lot. And I think it's a very smart thing to think about. Will you gain more from preventing them from playing and being that much further behind on tempo than if you actually make that attack or play that extra card?
Right.
Okay, Thermo Beam going to come down, kill its Shump Wump. A couple shrooms were drawn. Lobster going to put some more shrooms in the enemy deck. So definitely looking at that burn condition as well. Probably thinking that Lobster is going to progress down the next turn almost no matter what. But, I've been wrong about that before.
True. You have definitely seen the progress day delayed quite a bit.
And 2 more shrooms. It adds up. It all adds up. We see it Get Excited getting used. Jury Rig going to come down as well with that. So discard fodder was in hand for BBG. Going to let him clear away this Chump Wump. Lobster not going to be able to get in that extra damage. Of course, he really wanted that burn, but this is 3 burn from BBG that's going to have to be used to clear the board. But of course, it is an Ezreal target.
Yep.
We'll have to see how close BBG is getting because he does have his Ezreals in hand.
0 shrooms drawn.
Yeah, there's none left in Lobster's deck.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it.
Yeah, the Chump Wumps have been in his favor this time around. And he's actually drawn his third big chunk is his 3rd Chump Wump, which I think is a massive draw considering the direction this game seems to be going. Being able to add more shrooms to BBG's deck is definitely very important.
it definitely seems like it's the angle that Lobster's been playing around, and also that he is really going to need to implore here. Considering the Ezreal advantage seems to be in BBG's favor. It's tough because Lobster is falling behind in some regards here. The Draven does put forth a bit of a clock. Just open attack from BBG is going to be not the easiest thing to deal with.
Yeah, more shrooms being drawn.
Yep.
This looks like
Slowly
Mystic
but
Shot,
surely.
Static Shock from me, and that's probably the Ezreal
Yeah.
level, actually. That's 3 ticks. I think Ezreal could be at 5. I wonder if he's considering how important his own Mystic Shot is as burn. That's the only
Right.
thing that I think he would possibly be thinking about, because he knows he has to protect his own life total. So I don't think you can let the Draven connect to your face.
Mm-hmm. It certainly seems risky to do that.
Yeah, okay, so this is the clear line.
And he's throwing an extra.
Oh, he's at 4, not
Oh,
5.
it's only
That's
4.
the level
Okay,
up.
so he's
Okay.
actually overkilling it. Okay.
For the level. No, I actually like this because the chance that you're gonna get BBG to play another unit anytime soon is pretty low, and this may
Yeah, just
force
take it.
BBG to actively kill his own Draven. If I'm BBG and I'm sitting here with this this get excited and I see that Lobster is going to level off of this, I'm thinking that that get excited looks mighty nice at my own Draven.
Or at least the Blade's Edge at your own 1/1 here to prevent that. It won't prevent 2. It will prevent the 1, but that's still enough to stop the
So
level.
killing Draven prevents 3 ticks. I feel like it's the right play to kill your own Draven. It actually is in some capacity.
Yeah. This has
He's
gotta
okay.
be
He's
one of
gonna
the
go a little bit more conservative, and he's gonna allow
Yeah.
1 tick from the Draven. So he's gonna deny 2 ticks.
Man, this has got to be one of the weirdest things.
Yeah, I mean it's
They're
getting
fighting
really tense.
over who gets to kill the Draven. Yeah, getting rid of 2 slow speed enablers. Oh, that doesn't
doesn't
actually
help
do
him.
anything.
But he's got more
not
progress
really-
days to play.
Yep. More progress days to play, more chump bumps to play. So now, if you're Fresh Lobster, is Ezreal just offline now? Is that not your line anymore?
Yeah, I mean it's
I'm not
hard
sure.
because Lobster's even scared to play this chump bump because BBG's Ezreal is at 6.
Right.
And while he can get the shrooms, which are really impactful, if it allows BBG to level up, that
Only
suddenly
one shroom.
becomes the game.
That was huge for BBG. That was a very potentially scary progress day that he only took 1 damage off of.
Yeah, he's just blades edging to the face so that he doesn't mill cards.
Yep.
Man, this matchup is tough.
It really is. Another dodged draw of puff caps for BBG.
Yeah. Lobster probably just progress days. I mean, you don't want to be playing anything under the board. I agree with him to not play this chump bump. As good as it would feel to put more mushrooms in my opponent's deck, his Ezreal's too close to leveling. I mean, yeah, I guess pass works too. Like, if BBG plays units, then Fresh Lobster can actually, try and level his Ezreal and set up for more.
Yeah. BBG's at 10 cards. So he has to play something.
Yeah, just gonna go for the get excited to the face. Lobster, I actually get passing because BBG is on a clock of shrooms. So if they just pass back and forth forever, Lobster eventually wins the game. So he has to just make BBG play the game, and he's gonna wait until he has to play the game.
Man, this is such a weird match. I like it though. This is an interesting one. I think this shows both players know how to play this match. Lots of passing for sure. Can't really even play 2, 4. Can play 1 progress day. He's thinking, at what point can he play the chump wump and just force enough density of puff caps? Well, none of those are really.
Yeah, none of those draws were good. Those all sucked.
Yeah. Yep.
They're all pretty unplayable.
Yep. Not quite what you're looking for.
Yeah, BBG could pass, but he knows he's behind. I mean, he's
Right.
aware that he's got the puff caps in his deck. He will eventually lose. He has to do something at some point, and it may just be this chump wump.
Yep. Looks like it is.
But now it's go time for Lobster. He just needs 2 more hits. He could do it with Blade's Edge. Could do 1 Blade's Edge into a Thermo Beam.
Deciding what is the best line to take to level up this Ezreal, and from there start generating puff caps or burst spells and direct damage.
Burst pass from BBG. He wants Lobster to act first, so he has more information. Lobster not gonna bite. BBG gonna pass it away.
We'll take these passes. Lobster actually the one that's taking the puff cap there.
All right. He has to remove this. So Mystic Shot Blade's Edge. That will level for Lobster.
The problem being that, yes, you have a leveled up Ezreal, but right now you don't have a ton of spells to actually throw at your opponent. You've got 1 Blade's Edge. You've got potentially 2 puff caps from another chump wump, but you're going to have to sequence that in an awkward way where your opponent can maybe squeeze an Ezreal level up in. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. That's the concern, right? If he plays chump wump now, BBG might also level. And right now, Lobster is behind on HP. And he must be scared of some kind of burn. Lobster knows his own burn is not really there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to navigate this situation. But he does have the level up now, so he has the opportunity to start to try and forge lethal, essentially.
Right. Hard to find where it's coming from. And another mushroom cloud coming out for BBG.
Yeah, the burst pass. Hey, Lobster, do something. This is BBG. Lobster probably just going to pass it back.
I remember one time saying that this was a fun matchup to cast, and it is, but man, it is tough when each turn goes to roping.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and there's a ton to think about for sure.
There's so much to consider. But I think Lobster just has to wait until he has enough or BBG falls low enough.
Right.
It's kind of his best option.
Yeah, I think Lobster is on pass until something about the game state changes. He's not really incentivized to do anything right now. House Spider, not a good draw.
And that's what he's seeing. He's trying to see how much burn has been played to see how safe he is if BBG were to level up.
Looking
and Lobster
like...
might be saying it's go time.
Yeah.
Well, he
doesn't have a lot of turns.
Yeah, he was running out of time. But yeah, he says it's go time. Gonna go Draven. We might even see Chump Wump and then Ezreal, and then all of the burst spells. Sentry. Yep. That's 1 tick to the level up. 1 more remaining. Chump Wump.
Yep.
Ezreal will be played with 5 mana remaining. 3 burst spells totaling 2 mana. And then a fast spell can also get these thermo beams down for potentially
Yeah, can
more
get
damage.
the 0 mana thermo beams, can actually play the culling strike as well, can play the blade's edge. It might actually it might be enough for Lobster, especially if it also might depend on how many puff caps are drawn by BBG off the Static Shock as well.
Yeah, because BBG we see has this culling strike, which can answer Lobster's Ezreal when it comes down. Lobster will have time to react with fast spells and burst spells, but won't be able to use 0 mana thermos to actually deal the damage. So
right,
this is still pretty risky. BBG just leveled up his Ezreal, can actually play it in response to block Fresh Lobster. So the attack doesn't even have to have BBG playing Culling Strike.
Yep, plays his own.
This game could come down to mushrooms.
5, he can play 2. That's 8. No, okay. Can't kill him with burn. Do you just burst pass here for if you're Lobster? I mean,
I'm considering if like, do you burst pass or do you even just pass?
well, I feel like you want to play these puff caps almost no matter what
That's true.
to get the damage and to get the mushrooms. You know, opening with a culling strike makes sense. It's going to force the hand of BBG, of course.
If he Culling Strikes, BBG will Culling Strike in response.
Yep.
I like the burst pass. There it goes.
It's all tied up, at least in terms of life total. Boards are similar. Hands are very different. Number of puff caps in each player's deck is very different.
Lobster currently has the advantage. But it is close. One Mystic to face. No, Culling now.
The opening culling strike. And I think this puts it back in favor of Lobster because now he gets to re-culling strike as well as get another puff cap if he wants and a blade's edge.
Yeah, he gets 3 here, 4, 5 from the Culling Strike. And then he can play the burst spells to deal 9 damage. But then it is down to the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because we know that BBG has another Ezreal in hand and can potentially find lethal with that.
Man, this is, as you might say, on the blade's edge.
You might
Literally.
say that, Blevins. You might say that indeed.
Or you might not.
Because this is going to be a big draw.
Yeah, it's
for
more
both
about
Lobster
what BBG
and for BBG.
doesn't draw.
There's a heal bug. BBG is on 2 HP. It is a visual bug. He is on 2, not 5. Lobster is very confused by it. It is a visual bug. I hope someone is telling Lobster and he's not freaking out too much over it. This is something that has existed for a little bit, but it is a visual bug. He is on 2 HP. But BBG has 2 more Ezreals in hand. He doesn't have a ton of burst without actually playing this progress day, though. That's a no-go. 1,
and the puff caps. 2.
3
That's it.
shrooms. That's it.
That's it.
Lobster finds the win. He's confused.
Lobster has no idea what's going on.
He's very confused. He's losing it. He doesn't know what happened. But the visual bug still had BBG on 2 HP. The puff caps go off.
It's like, whatever. I don't care. That's it. All right.
Lobster going up 1 game over BBG.